Aloha, aloha. Welcome, everyone.
We're back.
Facebook tried to stop this transmission, but you can't stop the truth. So
No.
here we are. Welcome to Re-Evolution. I'm your host, Kevin Orosz. I'm joined once again by my radical soul sisters, Sydney Campos. And we're here to deliver the wake-up call. We're here to ask you, do you feel like your current paradigm, the current collective paradigm, is coming down around you? Is it falling apart? Is it going to shit? Is it burning because it's no longer serving you or your tribe or your beliefs? That's where we're at, Sydney. What's real?
Yeah. So much. I'm just feeling so much energy coming through right now. And I wanna first preface what we're about to share with an acknowledgement of what we have shared and transmitted thus far, for people tuning in with us now. It's like thousands of people. How many thousands of people? How many views have we had on these other videos?
It's over
Dropping
10,000 at this point.
Yeah. So it's like, what have we been getting into? The truth about money, sex, and power, and how to unlock your natural essence, which is to be incredibly magnetic to create whatever you want. Right. And
Yes.
Why is it important that we're bringing light to these typically very controversial shadow areas of our lives? Well, first and foremost, I think we were first inspired by this whole invitation because of how much both of us have been through in our own lives, respectively,
Right.
To arrive to a place where we can help other people, move through what we've been through over years in a matter of days, weeks, months, it's so fast, quantum leaping, right? In every area of their life in order to be more powerful, present, grounded, loving leaders, the whole name of this game isn't just about dropping all this cool wisdom and telling stories and, it's positioning ourselves in whatever way. It's I'm here right now committed to waking people up to the ways in which they are in their own way of having what it is they say they want,
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
I'm so clear right now, this past week, I've been having so much instantaneous feedback from so many people in my life, every single person being such a mirror of this conversation that we've been initiating over the last few weeks. And I know that there's tons of stuff going on, cosmologically, astrologically,
Right.
energetically. We're just in perpetual ascension mode. So much is coming in. People are feeling it all. It's, being reacted to in every which way. And this past week, I can't see the live comments right now, but if you're tuning in with us now, I know you've been feeling it. This past week has been such a massive shattering and dismantling of so
Yes.
many old ways of being, old identities, old energies, old attachments, codependencies, addictions, all this shit in your life that is really not working for you anymore. And the stuff that you would have probably liked to just keep doing because it's comfortable, because it's safe, because it's familiar, because
Yeah.
it's what you've even been doing over the last year, the last 2 years, and it makes a good story and it's easy and you're good at it. But it's not, it's probably being taken away from you in some way. It's probably maybe even falling apart in a pretty dramatic way. I've just been noticing this in many people's lives. And this even has been a lesson in my own life, asking me to show up in more authenticity and integrity with declaring what it is that I want. And am I willing to take the action necessary to create that which I desire? So this is a
Yes.
collective moment we are in right now, we are here now. And this moment is really an invitation. This conversation I want to have today is an invitation to collectively right now together, get radically honest about where you want to go from here. Say your life is not fully fulfilling, not fully, nourishing you in all the ways that you want. You're feeling drained. You're feeling worried. You're feeling so anxious. You're not able to sleep. You're not able to take care of yourself. Or you're just settled, right? Another thing that's coming up for me lately is this notion of golden handcuffs. You're trapped.
Yep.
You're
Yep.
stuck in comfort. You're stuck in settling. You're stuck in the familiar, and it's boring. It's unfulfilling. You're just every single day is the same. And you know that you could be doing so much more. You know that you could be so much more alive. You know that you could be so much more expansive. You know that you could be so much more utilized. This has been a big theme I've been noticing with people too. Wanting to feel fully utilized, fully alive,
Right.
fully used up, fully in service, waking up knowing that you have an incredible purpose to fulfill and fully living that completely, in a total flow that happens when you're in that that kind of alignment with your purpose.
Yes.
You know? And so I mean, that's just setting the stage for what I've been feeling this last week and kind of where all of our other conversations have been guiding us to, which is like, you know, also grounding in the urgency, you know, like we've talked about some really cool stuff. People have had some breakthroughs. People have been seeing their lives differently, you know, been recalibrating their relationships with sex, money, power, the way that they show up. You know, we gave away so much in that free masterclass about literally ways that people could astronomically shift their lives. And you and I know that we barely even scratch the surface of like the knowledge and the experience that we have to share, you know. And the thing I also want to speak to here is like, you know, I don't know. Let's just get into the real deal. Cause like this is it. Like you may think that you had a massive breakthrough and maybe that has kept you, like the people tuning in who have been following us and watching us for this whole journey. It's like, maybe you've had a massive breakthrough. Maybe like something has already drastically shifted in your mindset, your energy, your body, you know, your somatic experience, your ability to show up powerfully, your understanding of like these shadows. Maybe you've already transmuted some of that energy into more light, into more power, into more purpose, into more magnetism. Right. And yet, could you imagine how you're still settling and you're still being in your own way of like fully allowing the quantum leap shift, the quantum leap transformation that's really wanting to occur? You know, so I want to interrupt any sense of like comfort, settling, any sense of lacking responsibility, you know, like any lacking responsibility. I want to invite people into a real radical invitation of self-inventory, which I think leads into a practice, actually. Less talking. Let's get into an experience. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. I love this. This is your wake-up call. And I love you invoking urgency and responsibility and inventory. Can you take a self-inquiry on yourself? But yeah, Sydney, I'd love if we got into the body, got into the breath. Let's just anchor.
Well, I don't think a lot of people are doing this. I think a lot of people are like sitting down right now and they're at work or they're not or whatever. And they're like scrolling and they can, let's just keep it super real. Like people are consuming all this content. You're looking at all this cool stuff. You're like having your, you know, new thoughts and insights activated and you feel like you did something good for yourself by watching it. You know, like real talk, who's done that? It's like, oh, I watched this like breakthrough thing and I had a good feeling. I had an insight. I had a moment of what felt like transformation. And you're just like consuming content. Are you showing up differently in your life? Are you actually, you know, holding yourself to a new level of consciousness, which demands that you show up at a new level of integrity in your actions? Right. You know, it's like, this is some deep conditioning, like in our society, in our consumer matrix, you know, in our different matrix programming. Like, oh, you learned the lesson, you went to school, you learned the thing, that's enough.
Yeah,
you did it. You
good
changed,
job.
You're different, you're good, all good. No, and meanwhile, it's like, no, it's not, you didn't change, you're not different, you're not actually creating any results, you're not actually shifting in the ways that you really want, you're actually maybe even in denial, thinking that you are changing, thinking that you're helping yourself, and, you know, doing all these things that you're patting yourself on the back for, and you're not actually doing anything different.
Right. And it only happened mentally. This is what I want people to hear, especially if you consume a lot of videos. And, you know, I've been guilty of this in the past. And so it's not wrong. You're not bad. This is a big part of activating these power centers, is releasing shame, blame, and guilt. You don't need to feel that way. And if you change mentally only, so say you have a crazy insight or breakthrough like Sydney's talking about, you watched something, you heard something, and you were like, whoa. And you had the aha, right? The aha moment. Well, guess what? That stays up here unless you breathe it down, you act it down, you embody it down into the heart and gut and the sex center and your feet on the earth and your hands in the world. If you don't do that, then it'll stay up here and it'll live. And actually, here's the really punchline part that can be painful.
Mm-hmm.
It's more painful to have an insight and not act on it than to never have had the insight at all.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to hear that, because that's been my story in my life as a hyper intellectual and a thinker. And like, you know, this is why I went so deep into breath and bioenergetics and being raw and intimate, because I lived in my head for so long and just thought I was having breakthroughs. I thought I had the energy, and I come to wake up one day and find out, oh my goodness, I'm still in the stagnancy. I'm still in the loop. I'm still in the pattern. Nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed is I'm thinking a little differently, but I wasn't acting it out. So this is a wake up call. And you nailed it, Sydney. This week is a storm. This past, the past like months have been intense, but especially this last week, if you're feeling like your relationships aren't working, your job, your career, your relationship to finance just doesn't feel good. If you feel creatively unfulfilled, sexually unfulfilled, if you don't feel powerful in your own life, like you're the captain and hero or heroine of your own story, this is your wake up call. And like Sydney, we were having a really beautiful conversation, and like I so honor you as a soul sister and ally because you talk the real shit. And we were talking about how, there's a way in which the New Age community and us and specifically have gone too far into the bliss and too far into like look at all this power and magnetism and creativity you can have. And it's like we're not speaking so much to the other side, which is, you nailed it, golden handcuffs, stagnation, feeling stuck. And then this extra pain of knowing what you could do, but not doing it. And why is that? Why don't we have urgency in our lives for the stuff that really matters?
People are so, we were talking about the money matrix too, like this notion of like, when did like becoming bankrupt become suddenly more important than actually like living, like people are less afraid of death, like literally losing their life. They're more afraid of going bankrupt, going into debt. It's like, when did money become this whole thing that actually is like supplanting the importance of your physical embodiment and your life?
Wow.
Like that's what's really going on. Cause I see a lot of people this past week, especially, I've noticed this like reflected in various situations, people freaking out, like suddenly I can't like, stay committed to what I invested in. I can't see how that's going to be possible. Yes, I want this thing, but I'm not really willing to, I can't invest in myself for that now because, this other thing is more important, or I'm worried about this other thing, or it's like, and these people, it's like, you're stuck. And some of the people probably tuning in, I'm talking to you because, this is the truth. Doesn't it feel so torturous to know that you like have a way to get to a new level of consciousness, a new way of being, free yourself from this addiction to worry, to scarcity, to fear, to living in the future, to controlling everything about your life, so that you could actually, like open into more freedom, more creativity, more expression, more fun, more joy, all the things that you want. And yet it's like the very thing that's keeping you from getting into that new paradigm is money, is an addiction to like this future oriented, idea of safety, of security, it's like everyone's like living in this moment based on what they think is going to happen in 10 years instead of like living your life right now, living your life fully right now. And I promise you, having a quantum leap in what we would say like is abundance mindset, abundance consciousness, prosperity consciousness, involves again and again being willing to almost like do the unthinkable, right? Which at your current stage of consciousness would mean like investing in yourself or taking a different action or even doing something if it feels like, you don't deserve it or it's not responsible for you to do, to like give yourself a gift or to invest in support or to like take care of yourself or to really put energy towards that which you say you desire in full integrity. It's like the way you arrive to a new level of consciousness is to do the thing that doesn't intellectually make sense. That's how you literally upgrade to a new level. You do the thing that's almost, it's not counterintuitive. It's beyond that. It feels irrational based on where your current level of rationality is set. It's like, this is the only way that like in the past, I would say even for me, the timeline is so linear. It's so specific. It's like, it is a linear timeline over the last 2.5 years since I started my business. The only ways in which I have again and again since consistently quantum leaped consciousness in every area of my life has been to invest in myself in higher and higher levels to receive support that I've needed in breaking through old beliefs, old identities, old narratives, old energy, to fully be willing to let this stuff go, that I've let have any power over me whatsoever, to see again and again that when given the opportunity to rise to a new level of consciousness, a new level of possibility, and when I'm like fully lighting the fire under myself to do that, I do it and I show up all the way, usually better than I could have ever even imagined. And I meet the universe halfway. And that's where the quantum leap recipe is fully activated. It's like, I let go of control. I do the unthinkable. I do the irrational that would seemingly be irrational based on my current state of consciousness that I want to get out of, and then it's like, prepare to be surprised, prepare to have the ultimate surrender, the ultimate experience and letting go of any control, only to find that, oh my God, I can trust. I can trust in the unknown so deeply. And isn't this way better than anything I could have ever planned, imagined, or tried to even control ever, And for all areas of life, business and money are a really fun lens through which to see this whole, dynamic that we're alluding to take shape. It's all energy, but business and money in particular are like really incredible tools that we have immediate access to. Money, probably more than anything, is an immediate reflection, which we can use to calibrate our own internal alignment with, as we've said before, again and again, how is your energy flowing? How are you showing up in contribution? How are you receptive and giving at once of your gifts, of love, of your pure presence, right? Of your magnetic, your magnetic expression. Money is just a reflection of how you're allowing that to freely flow. Any way in which you're in resistance to being authentic, to being intimate, to being seen, to being your true self, to being fully in your power. Anyways, you're in resistance to any of the above equals resistance to receiving abundance in all sorts of forms.
In your bank account, straight up, it's going to show up in your finances. And this is what always, like, it used to really bother me. And now I see it in such a lens of compassion, because I was that person. When I'm speaking to someone and they're ready, they know their mind has gotten them stuck. They know that their relationship isn't working. They know their business savvy, whether they're an employee or an entrepreneur or whatever, it's not serving, and they feel it and they're like, oh. And then when it comes to investing money into the new way, although it doesn't make sense, it's beyond the mind. That's where the shutdown occurs for so many people. And dear brother Francisco Hara, we had a video yesterday, and he was blowing my mind about how a fear signature of energy, a fear energetic exists around money. And you said it. Most people are more afraid of going into debt and losing their home and having their bank account deplete than they are of losing their actual life. And why is that? That's very interesting. This money matrix we're in, there's a way in which you can partner with it to either up level, or you can hoard your gold that you can't take with you when you leave the body. So I really encourage anyone watching this. And in the same way, Sydney, I want to share, I would never have gotten to this point if I wasn't willing to radically invest in myself. If I wasn't willing to put my money where my mouth is and like go all in on my development, I never would have met the mentors, the allies, or received the support that I needed. And that was a big break for me, because it's so funny. I don't hesitate to drop $100 on an all organic farm to table dinner for me and my fam. I wouldn't hesitate to buy a new car or sign a lease for 15 grand. Suddenly though, when it comes to developing myself and my physical, mental, spiritual gifts, this weird energy rises where it's like, wait, that doesn't make sense. You can't afford that.
Yeah.
What will you get out of it? What's the ROI? What will my parents think? Oh, but you saved that money for this. These fear stories, they're beautiful. They're welcome here. And the urgency. If you've been feeling it, if you've been feeling that energy, I know I've been feeling it in the same way we were sharing with each other, Sydney. Like I've seen it manifest in my life in so many ways. We've been in like a Venus retrograde, and now we're going into these crazy transits. And even if you're not into astrology and the cosmos, just watch the news. I think a lot of people are in a fear mindset because they're looking to the external to inform their personal magnetic sovereignty. And it's like, when you do that, and when you live up here in the mind and you don't go below this area down into the wild region of the heart's a really fast energy. It's the seat of the intuition of the spirit, in my opinion. It's a very fast energy, and it doesn't always make sense. In fact, the best decisions I've ever made, I don't know about you, Sydney, they almost never made sense logically.
They felt pretty reckless at times. It's like, this feels reckless. This is probably good for me to do if I want to like completely disrupt my entire paradigm and radically shift everything in my life at once. Yes.
That
and at the
recklessness
same time,
is good.
Like there's a question really alive for me. I wrote about this last night. Today is a big milestone for me. Today is 7 days since I, got drunk. And I used to have a long love relationship with alcohol, and like I love alcohol, and I love doing drugs. I love to be obliterated. I love to not be here. I didn't really want to be here for a very long time. I did not want to be here. It was too painful. I saw all the like bullshit going on and all the world. And it's like, how was I going to do anything about that? And I felt like it was all up to me to fix it, you know, and I would drink over that. And I was such a victim consciousness, you know, for a long time. So anyways, 7 years. And, you know, even in the last 2.5 years, my life is like, I can't even, you know, it's like the amount of growth, the amount of accelerated transformation and healing that will happen in a day, in an hour, in a conversation now, because I'm available for it. It astounds me. It astounds me. And I know the same is for you. And I know the same is for many of the people that are tuning in with us now. It's like, we're on this timeline now that it's just like, it's accelerated. It's all or nothing. It's full on. Like when your soul signs up to do the deal, to like fully show up for the mission that you're here to serve, and literally clear away any of the unconsciousness that is in the way of you having what it is that you know you deserve and what you desire. It's like, you just got to go all in. You have no choice but to be in full integrity and get very honest with yourself about the ways in which you're holding yourself back from being fully alive, you know? And this is the stuff that like, I'm so compassionate right now that people are like, literally killing themselves over this feeling of not being able to have what they want, or feeling disempowered, or feeling like a victim, or feeling like they can, or feeling like they can't create the resources. They don't have enough. They're not enough. You know, no one's going to help them. They have to do it alone. Like, I get it. People, I mean, you know, I get that. And the thing that I'm really tuning in with is like, I'm always inspired by this question of like, how bad does it really have to get before you decide that it can be better? Like, how bad does it have to get? Do you really have to almost die? Do you really have to almost like lose your house, go bankrupt, whatever? Like, how bad does it have to get before you decide, I want to be free from financial scarcity. I want to be financially free. I want to be totally healthy and like all aspects of my life. I want to be able to create whatever I want. I want to be fully in the embodiment of abundance, which is knowing that I have everything that I need in every single moment that I need it. I want to fully exit any matrix programming that would have me feel at any level that I am a slave to what anybody else expects of me, to anybody else's particular path, to anything outside of me. I want to completely deprogram myself from any sense of external validation, deriving my internal sense of worthiness, my internal sense of divinity, sovereignty, complete wholeness. You know, it's like, how bad does it have to get? You know, and I understand that you and I were talking about this. Sometimes it can feel a little bit lonely. You know, if you're like woken up to some of this stuff and you've deprogrammed a lot, it's like, well, man, we get on the video and we're all, you know, high vibrational, happy 5D because I'm free. Like, I am in a lot of ways compared to how I used to live for most of my life. Like, I am fucking free. And I still have more to grow. I still have more to learn. I still have more to heal. Like, I'm a student as much as I'm a teacher again and again. Humility is like my best medicine, you know? And like, I'm pretty fucking free most of the time. And it can feel painful or sometimes lonely. I think that's what we were speaking to yesterday. It's like this feeling of like, we get on the video and it's like, people give us the feedback of like, you're so high vibrational and it's so blissful and amazing. And oh my God, your vibration, your frequency is so high. It's incredible. And I thank you. I received that. I don't mean to, you know, put that down at all. I know that's not criticism. And I want to convey with great urgency that like being free takes work, takes discipline, takes commitment, takes the like very strong desire. And how bad does it have to get before that like willingness? Like, I'm not convinced that it has to get bad at all. Like, that's what I want to create here is this moment of like urgency. And how do we activate a willingness to break out of the old non-serving, non-aligned paradigms that are keeping, I mean, it's everyone at a certain point, keeping, you know, the people that I really care about rising up and leading and being fully activated in their visionary potential, fully activated in their soul mission. It's like, how do we cultivate that willingness, you know? And this is the other thing we were talking about too, like some of the feedback we got from our class and from, I've gotten this feedback and other things that I've shared as well. It's like, I don't want to exist in a paradigm in which I'm creating any codependency, victimization, feeling like I need to make you feel bad so you understand how much you need me and that I have the answer and I have the way and I am the guru. Right. No, I want to create a space where it's, yes, there's urgency, there's willingness, there's dedication, there's discipline, there's commitment, there's reverence for this path, which is like painful and real as much as it is light and love and all the goodness. It's everything. It's full polarity, full spectrum. full embodiment,
Playing with the full deck. That's what comes up for me. Like,
Yeah.
are you willing to play with the full deck of your experience and emotion and like your embodiment? And I love what you're speaking to. And I so agree that, you know, this old hat marketing and this old paradigm of like, let's really like make this codependent. You know, you're a student, I'm the teacher, you know, you're a disciple, I'm the guru. Like this doesn't work because it brings up, you know, speaking to soul sister Freedom Franklin, love her work, talks a lot about
Yeah.
healing loops and victim
Yes.
loops. Do you want to get stuck on the loop? Like, and this is a dangerous pathway that is not spoken to that
This
much.
is a whole business model. This is a mass media marketing, hypnotic business model that I myself have experienced with mentors who have enacted unconsciously codependent relationships.
Right. Right. And the quantum level, like the loop does not have to exist. You don't have to spend 20 years healing your trauma. We can make quantum leaps now. That's what part of the paradigm that I see coming in every day.
Yes.
And I feel it because I'm getting in touch with it in myself. And I'm like,
we're living it.
Big leaps are possible right now. Big leaps. Something you've been holding for years can transform in one day, in 1 hour, in one conversation, as you said, in one session. Like you don't need or have to play victim and stay in a loop. And this is a trap I see in the new age community a lot. Someone decides, okay, I want to rise. I want financial freedom. I want emotional mastery. I want a twin flame relationship, et cetera, et cetera. They start the path. They get one level up. Oh, they feel expansion. It feels good. Maybe another level. And then they get looped.
Yep.
Either because of an irresponsible teacher or someone holding a space that's not in integrity, or they let their own mind start running the show. Well, I learned the lesson, right, Sydney? I did my yoga teacher training.
I'm done.
Just bliss. I can just burn incense and it's all good, sister. It's like, no, like do not fall for the loop. And also do not fall for the, how do I want to say this? Like you have to put in the grind and the hours of healing. Quantum leaps are available to you.
It's really when you face yourself. Yeah. And it's like what comes up for me is like when you're willing to like face yourself and not necessarily look for someone else to go and give you the answer. You have the answer. Are you willing to actually face your own reflection, essentially? You know, like that's what I activate people to. That's the kind of space I want to create. That's what I want to share as like a new paradigm way of leadership in all facets of the way that we lead in all areas of our lives. You know, like what happens when we hold each other radically responsible for ourselves, right? And be very, very conscious of any projections of this is the way, this is the right way, this is the system, this is the answer, this is the one solution, you know? Like I'm very wary of that languaging being so limiting and so disempowering. And I'm so exhausted by it, frankly. I'm really exhausted by it. I really want us to show up in a different energy in which we can really meet. You know, that's where the quantum leaps occur, when like we meet as equals, we meet in deep trust, we meet in like a deep reverence for the divine operating through both of us, you know, and creating this unexpected, unplannable, unstrategizable result. You know, it's like, that's what I want. I crave that so badly. Yes. And the feeling that comes up sometimes is like, but you got to keep being the bridge. We got to keep being the bridge. We got to communicate in this way that maybe the people we want to help are still resonating with more, which is involving more hitting on the pain points, hitting on the like reality check, hitting on the, you know, it's like there's whole business models. I did one of them this past year, like teaching you how to make a funnel, make a webinar, and how to have a very specific flow of your language, of your energy, and to like psychologically how people are trained to respond, you know, how to play into that healing loop, get the people in the loop, get the people with that psychological tactic, that sales strategy, that flow, that 1-2 punch. Otherwise people don't respond. Otherwise there's not urgency. Otherwise they don't get it. Otherwise it's not clear, you know, and you don't want to give too much. Don't give too much away. You don't want to actually help people change without them first like creating a dependency with you, knowing that you're the one and that they're going to pay you forever and keep buying your shit, because actually no matter what they buy from you, it's never the thing that they really need, but they keep thinking they want more and more and more, like an addict.
Right. And this is like, Yeah, you're speaking some truth right now. And this is a responsibility that we get to be in, Sydney. And like, I've always felt this way. Even when I was being sold to, like you, I had mentors and I was in these programs, and like, it never felt good, even though it's like logically, oh yes, A plus B equals C. And this funnel will do this. It's like, yeah, tactically, like it makes sense. Like the human attention span has been mapped. I want you to hear that. The human attention span has been mapped through marketing. Now, what kind of attention span is it though? You're nailing it. It's one of addiction and needing something outside yourself. And often at best, codependency. If I give you this, you'll give me that. And oh, okay, now I can feel good. And like, we're moving so fast now into new territory. And that's why I'm excited to have these conversations with you, Sydney. And anyone watching this, if you're vibing like really strong right now, like tag someone, share this video, because these frequencies that we're speaking are, well, the paradigm's coming down around us. So this is the new voice as far as I feel. You know, I feel so much energy in my body right now for all the people who were sold a bill of goods that they didn't receive. Yeah. Because they got stuck in a loop or one of these addictive codependent relationships. And blessings also to the people who sold them that, because they probably had really good intentions and they were following a paradigm and a model. So there's no blame here. There's no blame.
It's all such good lessons, you know, but it's like, it's so funny. Over the past 2 weeks, I've met literally like, it's like a handful of people I've met who've given me the same exact feedback about, you know, having worked with a coach. And it's like they hired the person almost, it's according to their intellectual, you know, feeding into the like intellectual rationalization that the coach was offering. Like, this will happen if, you know, if you work with me, we'll do this and create this. But then not trusting this deeper knowing that we all have, whether or not you consider yourself to be intuitive, you are, and you know what is right for you. And it's like, I literally had I think it was 4 people in the last 2 weeks traveling through different parts of the country, you know, telling me like, I hired a coach, I worked with them for a few months, only to realize at the end and towards the end, like maybe halfway through the program, only to realize that what I wanted to do at the beginning before I worked with them, like, is still what I wanted to do. Like doing it right. Someone else's way isn't going to work. And right. It doesn't work actually. You know, I've even like experienced that and frankly, I mean, these are like, can be very traumatic relationships if they're really codependent yes. and the mentor is like, you know, really projecting some intense codependency or like addictive, like traumatizing behaviors. It can happen a lot where, you know, it's like you can really repress your own knowing, your own power, your intuition, your soul, you know, thinking that you can't do it. You can't do it your way, or it's not the right way. You have to do it someone else's way because they're successful, because they did it. You have to do it their way. That's the only way. And then when you leave it, the word, talk about torture, just like when you have the insight and you don't take action on it. Same thing when you have that intuitive knowing that like, I don't think this is right for me, but I'm going to go try to do it this other person's way anyway, just to see, because it feels like that's safer. Right. And it's like, and you do it, and then you actually get results doing it like that person's way. But then it's never fully satisfying because it feels like you never did it. Like it wasn't actually you doing it. And I myself have had that experience. And it was like, you know, really amazing. There's no right or wrong, as you said, like all of these experiences, all of these mirrors that people were sharing with me are perfect, right? And I trust that we all are always getting exactly what we need in the moments that we need it, no matter how hard or traumatizing or painful the lesson is at the time. And yet, there's a reason why, like, I was shown this message again and again. It's like, first of all, mirror from my own experience, and then also like collective, you know, alarm for what I know in my heart is happening for so many people right now. So many people, especially leaders, especially, you know, entrepreneurs, visionaries, people that are maybe even in a job who are like, I cannot live like this fucking Groundhog Day anymore. Like I know I am here to do something aligned with my soul. I know I'm here for an incredible mission. And I know that I'm the only one that is being called right now to fully take that leap. No one's going to make me leave my job and go do it. No one's going to like fully, you know, activate me into my aliveness. Like, you know, it's up to you. You know, it's up to you. And you know that at some level you signed up for exactly this. Like you signed up for this level of expansion where you can fully see yourself and see what you're really capable of. And isn't that the most exciting, incredible initiation ever? And yet it's like the shadow going on right now with so many people. I know, I just feel it. I can feel it with so many people. It's like everybody in my field. Like I feel this so deeply. It's like everyone is seeing like the ways in which you have become very comfortable with what you've been doing, even for the last year, the last 2 years. Like, oh, it looks good. It's made sense. It's been good. I've even gotten some results. It's felt safe. But then it's this new level of initiation to really get honest with yourself and face the truth of, is this really your highest excitement? Is this really your genius? Is this really your highest fulfillment? Is this really your highest service? Or is it something
really
else?
What you want? Is it really what you want?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This is painful. And you said it earlier, Sydney, like the self-inventory. Doing inventory and being like, oh, but everything's so good. I got the job, I got the relationship, but like go a little deeper. This has been the painful journey I've been on this year, getting initiated into this multiple times. Am I being really true to the desire? Because check this out. I'm gonna hit you with a Tony Robbins quote. And this one goes deep. The biggest failure is success without fulfillment. Let me say it again. The greatest failure is success that is unfulfilled. And so that for me is like, ooh, I get spirit bumps feeling that vibration, because if you are faking the funk even a little bit, maybe you're 99% and like you have so much authenticity, your creative purpose and soul mission, it's online, you're an entrepreneur, you're doing it, you're a leader, you're a mentor, you're a coach, whatever, or you want to be, you're starting that and it feels good. If you become successful from any place other than 100% integrity, you will be a failure. And not a failure like, oh, you did bad, like try again next time. It's like, no, the failure is that you will feel unfulfilled and unsatisfied on a cellular level. And there's nothing more painful. And there's no greater gift. That's the beauty of this time right now that we're speaking to. This gift of, hey, if you feel the itch, if you feel like your paradigm's coming down, if any faith you've put in external paradigms is coming down, this is a gift. This is urgency. This is the soul level. This is the spiritual level, whatever that means for you, whatever name you give the all, God, whatever. You're getting a wake-up call and it's really loud. It gets really uncomfortable if you resist it. That's the other part. There's a type of hero's journey, which is a failed initiation. And I want to speak into this. I was speaking to this on a podcast earlier. It's very powerful. The first act of the hero's journey is the call to adventure. Many of us, myself included, this year, this season, have heard the call. Now, if you do not answer the call, things will become more difficult for you. And it's not out of punishment. It's not because you're doing wrong. It's because what wants to live through you has to get your attention somehow, because it's not going to go anywhere. Energy is conserved. It's not destroyed. If you do not express it in a healthy way that's creatively fulfilling and stokes you and lets you be a way shower and a bridger into 5D or whatever that means, put your 5D glasses on, because we're going ultra color vision. The black and white stuff, if you fail to answer the call, it'll reappear again and again and again. And that dragon will keep knocking and knocking at your door. It's like, hey, Kevin, hey, Sydney, this wants to live out of authenticity. If you don't let me live this way and answer it and confront it with empowerment and sovereignty, it's going to come out in a very painful way. And for a lot of people, it's success that's unfulfilled, success without soul. Maybe you're making the money that you want to make, but not doing what you want to do. And so what is that money going to do for you then? Come on. This is a portal, fam. We're in the portal.
For real. What happens when, this is when my relationship with time gets a little bit slippery, but I've always felt like my whole life, and certainly in the last couple of years, it's like, it feels pretty like preeminent that our current financial system is falling apart. And very soon, who knows how soon, it feels very soon for me. Yeah. It's like, we're not going to be dealing. It's like money, we've given it all this power. And it's like, I love money. I love money so much. Money's awesome. I'm so clear. I can create. I get to create my desires. I get to use this energy as a reflection of the love that I have to serve, to help others, to be in contribution, to be in freedom, to be in joy, to share this frequency. I love it, right? And the more that I'm in that frequency of love, of joy, of highest excitement and alignment with my genius, with my purpose, the more money I get. So it's really fun. It's like a fun game. It's an amazing game. And I'm so clear that like, we're probably not going to have this like same iteration of what is really a desecrated sacred economy that has been operative for how many hundreds of years. You know, it's like, everything's shifting. We're having new forms of currency, new forms of energy exchange, new forms of abundance, like being created. And a lot more examples, frankly, of people, you know, living outside of these different, let's say, mass consciousness matrix programs that a lot of us have sought to reinvent and revitalize with more sacredness, you know, and more sacredness. And so that's just always something I'm like, as we're in this conversation of like people caring more about money and debt and bankruptcy than their life. It's like, check the timeline, y'all. Does that really make sense? Like, does that really tune in with your priorities and the current, you know, reality of where we are?
You can't eat money. You can't build a shelter out of money. You can't even do any useful work with money. It's not even a tool. It's symbol.
Paper.
It's a symbol.
You can burn it and make a fire.
Yeah, I guess you could. It's useful for tender kindling, for firewood. But yeah, this is the craziness of people that are so afraid of debt. Like, if you are putting your number in a bank account above lived, felt experience and the adventure of life, like, I've done that. I know that pain.
Yep,
I know that pain of having a full bank account, but an empty heart and an empty experience.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the beautiful thing about money. I love money too. Money is funny and money is honey. It's an elixir. It's an elixir. If you make it that, you're an alchemist. I want you to know that. We're alchemists. You're an alchemist. I'm an alchemist. You can turn your money into experiences. I think that might be the most powerful way to use it. Invest in money that's going to bring you meaningful, deep, intimate, transformative experiences, whatever that looks like. And if you use money in that way, guess what? Then we bring the sacred economy back online.
Yeah.
We bring it online when we vote with that dollar.
Yes. And I love, this is like a whole other long conversation we could have about like the ways in which we make up meaning about money and how extraordinary that journey is for each and every one of us, because it's so tied to so many different, you know, that story, that meaning is so rooted in depth of our ancestry, of our lineage, of our upbringing, of our parents' beliefs, of their parents' beliefs, of our culture, it's like, again, it's a tool, it's a mirror to see the ways in which we're out of alignment or in alignment with our truth. You know, it's like, are you really living for you? Are you living in accordance with your deepest desire? Are you the embodiment of the worthiness that you are? Or are you still trying to prove that you are worthy, which is another insane program? Because why would you need to prove that you are something that you innately are? Like, it's like giving energy to this illusion to prove, I have to prove that I'm worthy. I have to prove that I'm equal. I have to prove that I matter, when you're already all of the above. Why are you wasting your time trying to prove this illusion? You're like giving energy to the opposite. It doesn't make sense. And yet so many people are spending their lives doing exactly that, trying to finally, you know, make their parents proud of them. Maybe with this much money, with this much success, maybe my mom will finally love me. When really what you're looking for is that love from within you. And you're not giving that to yourself as long as you're not allowing yourself to really do what it is your heart, your soul, your intuition knows you're here to do. Your purpose isn't something you like go find and you have to go find it and it's somewhere out there and I don't know what I really love. Yeah, that's another oracle I've been getting of people I like met in the lift when I was traveling in Boulder on the plane. It's like this story. I don't know what my passion is. I don't know what my purpose is. I'm in this job I don't really like. Maybe I'll start a business or something. I don't really know. This lack of urgency to start living your life. Like, what the hell, people? It's like up to you. It's up to you. It's like, it was draining. It was frankly very draining. I was in these 2 really long conversations. I probably, in hindsight, could have, like, for whatever reason, I was there serving these people, and it was helpful for me, you know, to be in that reflection of like something I'm not frequently around, to be honest. You know, like this feeling of powerlessness. People are like, I don't know.
Right.
How long are you going to live thinking that? How long are you going to keep going on thinking you don't know and you don't have any energy with which to create something new? Or make it's like, what are you waiting for? Again, comes back to my original point. Like, does suffering really need to be like the ultimate motivator? Like, are we really only motivated by
Right.
pain, or can we be motivated by excitement, by holding the vision of what's possible, by inspiration, by imagination? I mean, those feel like much more powerful motivators to me than pain.
Totally. For me, it's always been that way. And I've always been confused, especially as a boy, like why people give so much energy to pain and trauma. Like even little stuff, like suddenly everyone's very tuned in to someone who's like, oh, I'm having such a bad day. And everyone wants to like help them. And like, meanwhile, someone who's blissed out and like activated and like really embodied, they don't get as much attention because I believe that it's making everyone feel uncomfortable if they're in the old paradigm. And, Osho speaks to this. I've been reading him a lot. And he's like, the society's insane. Because trauma and misery, if you meet someone on the street and they're like, oh my goodness, I'm so activated in my soul purpose. Let me tell you about like what I did today. I've been transforming. I've been having synchronicities because I'm on my mission and I'm receiving abundance. People will take you to a mental asylum.
Yep.
Meanwhile, if you're on New York City streets or Los Angeles City streets and someone's like, hey, how's it going? Oh, another day in Babylon. I'm pretty miserable in this job, but got to pay the bills. It's like, yeah, dude, I feel you, man. I feel you. It's like, that's like a normal interaction.
Yeah.
It's like, we have it backwards.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's due to conditioning. And hey, it's beautiful. It's welcome. It's okay. And we get to transmit and transcend it by, I love what you're saying about purpose. This one comes up all the time with clients, with people. I just get messages and people are like, I love that. I see your energy and it's awesome. How do I find my purpose? It's like, meanwhile, they're putting their best energy, their best years, their best thoughts into someone else's dream. And that's what I want. I want you guys to hear that. And if you're like feeling that and you really are like, you're burning with this feeling that we're transmitting, drop a fire emoji in the comments right now. I want to see how many people are on this wavelength, because you must have a plan or else you'll become part of someone else's plan. Or said another way, because planning can be mental. You must have a dream. And it's not that you have the dream is you. It's just getting in touch with it. As you said, Sydney, it's inside of you. It's not outside. No one is going to help you find your purpose or dream. There's people that can hold space for you while you find it for yourself, but no one's going to like be like, here, look, it's your passion. Start a business. It's like, this is another one of those loops. We're uncovering the loops, and there's loops all over the place. Oh.
Yeah, I wanna invite us into what we're alluding to is, about feeling and embodiment and like deep experience that can only be accessed at the individual level, at the soul level. And how often I see this frequently again. It's like when given the space, the opportunity, the invitation to finally take a deep breath and settle into yourself and really feel what it feels like to be you, and ask yourself some very honest inquiry about what is it that you truly want? What is it that you're really called to activate? What is it you're called to let go of? What is your highest vision for every area of your life? And are you tuning in with that every day? Why not? And if you're not, why not? How are you aligning your life to serve you, to serve your soul? How are you aligning your thoughts, your actions, your energy to be completely in integrity with what you say you want? Or are you just flying blind, following other people, expecting other people to give you the answer? When you have your own best answer, but are you giving yourself that space to really excavate it? And it's not even a matter of excavating, it's there. Are you giving yourself space to allow it to naturally arise? This energy naturally wants to arise and be expressed, to be dreamt awake, yes. And yet if you're all up in the busyness and the addictions and the loop-de-loop and the worry and the anxiety and all of the addictions to worry and fear and control and future and all of it, the money story, identities, expectations, all of it. And you're not giving yourself that time to feel into your most powerful, heart-centered soul self. Are you really living? What are you living for? So I'd love to just share, and maybe we do this to close, and we'll just kind of guide a little integration afterwards. Guide a visualization to help people tune in with what we're really offering here in this discussion, this activation, our invitation to actually work with us over the next few weeks, in an immersive container where we're going straight into these different energies: money, sex, power, authentic alignment with your purpose, full magnetism. I want to give people an actual experience here, an invitation to experience yourself and see that you may have some really beautiful guidance and clarity available to you right now in this moment. Yeah. So, yeah, let's do it. So go ahead and just close your eyes gently if you're not already with us in this moment, finding a comfortable space to get comfy set up, whether that's laying down or sitting straight up with your spine nice and straight, whatever feels best for you. Immediately taking 3 breaths into your heart space, the deepest breaths you've taken in all day long, really allowing yourself to arrive. Maybe your mind's feeling a little bit active, being super activated with all the beautiful messages that we've been sharing, questions you may have. Just breathing into your heart space and allowing your attention to drop deeper into the body. And starting to bring your awareness to the root of your spine and starting to take some deep breaths up the whole length of your spine, feeling as you do so a beautiful body scan of your whole energetic field, your physical body, just tuning in with how it feels to be you right now. Maybe as you exhale, releasing any tension, tightness, or holding, stagnation, allowing your neck, your shoulders to settle, allowing your face to relax, your jaw to release, allowing any clenched parts of your body to release fully, breathing into any spaces that maybe require more openness, lightness. Perhaps giving yourself the first moment of presence you've gifted yourself with all day, maybe even all week. And if you could start to feel into this feeling of being in your own energy field, picturing a bubble of light emanating from your heart center outwards around you in every single direction for perhaps as much as 5 feet around you in every single direction. Feeling what it feels like to be completely immersed in your own energy, free and clear of any external influences, any other energies, completely in your own space. And just tuning in with what that feels like. Maybe this is the first time you've tuned in with your own energy. What does it feel like to be in your own field, completely unadulterated, uninflicted by anything else? Can you feel into a color that comes to mind when you tune in with your energy, a temperature, a texture, anything that you notice about you and the radiant field that you so naturally cast out into the world, your energetic signature, your magnetic blueprint? And from the space of deep grounded embodiment in your soul self, in your energy, in your pure essence, summoning in the guidance of your intuition, your higher self, your inner child, your soul, whatever energy you connect with and resonate with most is perfect. Connecting with your higher self guidance and just asking for some direction, some insight in this moment, asking, when it comes to my high vision for my financial life in this moment, what is it I'm being called to activate? What is it that I'm being called to create? What is my highest vision for my financial life right now? How am I being called to show up differently and more integrity and more clarity? What would feel the absolute best for me when it comes to money, when it comes to my money story, when it comes to how I show up in full responsibility for my resources, my energetic inflow and outflow, how I support myself. Is there any guidance, direction, or truth that I need to face, that I'm ready to face, that I'm ready to receive when it comes to my financial well-being, my financial freedom? What is it I need to know? I'm just listening for whatever messages, insights, vision, feeling come to mind. Noticing any subtle sensations, trusting that the perfect message arrives to you in the most perfect time. Maybe asking, what is the most powerful action I'm being called to activate when it comes to my financial freedom, my financial well-being, my financial health? What's something that I am called to take care of immediately? How can I most support myself in embodying full abundance and prosperity consciousness? And then with the same energy, tuning in again, asking about your expression of power and authenticity. When it comes to my highest vision for my authentic expression, my creativity, my contribution of my gifts, my purposeful alignment with my soul mission, the way that I show up in full presence and power. What do I need to know right now to best support me on my path? What action am I being called to take in full integrity with that which I say I desire? How am I in my own way of embodying my full power? Where have I given my power away? How am I allowing my energy to be drained at this moment? Continuing to breathe deeply as you're present to any messages that come through for you in the most perfect way, again, in the most perfect time, not judging, not criticizing, simply allowing whatever transmission is available to you to come through and be fully received. And then lastly, asking for direction and embodying your fullest, most divine, innocent, beautiful sexual energy. When it comes to your sexuality, your pleasure, your desire, your relationship with receiving, your ability to receive that which you say you desire and feel so good while doing it. What direction, guidance, healing, insight, truth is available for you in this moment to feel more empowered in being fully sexually expressed, in being fully embodied in your femininity, your masculinity, your divine, innocent expression of pleasure, of love, of intimacy. When it comes to your intimate relationships, when it comes to your relationship with yourself, with your own body, is there anything that you need to know in this moment that will support you on your path and aligning with your highest truth? Is there any action that you're called to take to be in more integrity with that which you say you desire? Is there any healing? Is there any transmutation you're calling in to support you in allowing more pleasure to naturally unfold in your life? Simply asking, what is it that I need to know right now relating to my sexuality, my pleasure, my receptivity, my embodiment in this physical vessel, my relationship with my beautiful body? How can I support myself in feeling my absolute best? How can I better take care of myself? What is it that I really desire when it comes to my sexuality and sexual expression, my intimacy, my relationships? Paying attention to any body sensations that may arise for you throughout this whole experience, and just allowing whatever energy is wanting to move to simply move, trusting that you're held in such unconditional love and complete healing. And then lastly, just tuning in with all of the insights that you've received, all of the transmissions that have been activated through this beautiful visualization, through being simply centered and grounded in yourself, tuning in with your higher guidance system, your truth, your intuition, which is always available to you, which is your superpower. Can you see this version of you in your mind's eye and your heart? Can you really see this physical embodiment of you that has everything that you said that you want, everything that you feel you so deeply deserve and desire? You feel into this version of you that knows you have everything that you need to activate your highest alignment. Can you feel into this version of you that has so much support, so much help available? It's just right there when you're ready to ask, when you're ready to initiate, when you're ready to allow yourself to receive. Feeling into this beautiful, sensual, powerful, abundant, magnetic self that's already within you. Feeling that beautiful sense of peace and ease, deep gratitude, deep love for this essence of who you are, who you will always be. And breathing again into your heart and just allowing yourself to bring some energy back into your physical awareness, maybe starting to gently open your eyes and come back into full connection and presence. And just, maybe you had some powerful insights come up. It's a beautiful moment if you want to, after we hop off this video, which we'll do soon, do some journaling, do some continued meditation. That's a really powerful practice to drop into, I would say, every single day, because you can immediately feel how powerful that is when you really allow your natural energy, first and foremost, to become fully embodied, where you're not unconsciously attached to external expectations or validation or in the mind. You're accessing another part of your awareness by summoning your intuition, your soul, your higher guidance. And you really have this innate capacity to heal yourself and to feel so good, to feel amazing, and to get some really clear, specific guidance on ways in which you can create more alignment, ways in which you're maybe out of integrity. Every time I guide people through this, they're so clear on the immediate action they need to take to get into more integrity, to feel better, to feel more free, to feel lighter, to have what they want. It's so clear, when given the opportunity to really face yourself and to ask, how am I in my own way? How am I out of integrity? How am I really not allowing myself to feel good? It's like, the answer,
The answers are sitting inside of you. And that's the beauty of, what I was experiencing. And maybe for some of you, watching this now or later, it might be the first time ever or today that you've been just in your own energy and aware of it. And when I find when I do that consistently, and that was beautiful, Sydney, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
The answer is there. The mind is the one that wants to solve problems and put it outside, but this is the practice to actually uncover what's already there. And it's counterintuitive, right? From the paradigm we're in that's falling down, by the way. You need to go get it, or you need to do a lot to have it. You actually need to do less and be more. This is about being.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And, the last piece is really an invitation to not only, have continued embodiment experiences like this, be guided through more somatic work to align even more fully with your energy, to embody more of this natural, good feeling, receptive, magnetic state that is just so wanting to be birthed from within you, that's wanting to be dreamt awake, fully alive. There's no better way to do this than in community, again and again, it's like, you can do the meditations, you can even do, the practice I gave you will probably change your life if you just show up to doing that every day. And could you imagine the quantum leaps that are possible for you in all of these realms, in these powerful realms of your life? Could you imagine the quantum leaps that are possible for you when you're held in radical honesty, transparency, and accountability?
Yes.
To really just have permission to speak the truth that you already know is within you, wanting to be shared. To really voice, this is the direction I have. This is the guidance I have coming through. This is what I know is no longer working. And to be held in a safe space to practice showing up intimately, authentically, in your fullness of who you are. Loved, right. Supported, seen as whole, seeing yourself in the mirror of a community, in the mirror of Kevin and I, holding space for you to really see how magnificent, how powerful, how magnetic, how masterful you truly are. Once you're allowed to really get out of your own way. And this is the invitation to join us in this container that we're curating for the next 4 weeks, yes. Starting on Monday. This is my intention. My intention is to hold a space for radically self-empowered leaders, yes. Leaders of their own most incredible, magnetic, abundant lives who know everything. You vibe with every single thing we've said and you feel it. It's less about the knowing, the believing, the thinking. We're not necessarily speaking to that part of you. I'm speaking to your soul. Yes. And that may feel very scary or confronting for you if that's a new phenomenon to have someone that really speaks to you at that level. But that's really the only level that I'm interested in connecting with people at, because totally. the rest is unsatisfying and feels very superficial. And yes. This is the new world that we're called to create. And it really is on that level of creating an entirely new paradigm in which, I'm just going to take it there. Imagine a world in which we all feel so seen, so heard, so fully expressed in the fullness of our authentic desires and our authentic truth, and so turned on, full power, full on, full creativity in flow, full contributions in flow, where these stories of illusion, of scarcity, fear, separation are irrelevant. They do not exist. They do not coexist in this new paradigm in which you're fully alive. They just do not, they do not exist in the same frequency. Could right. Could you imagine experiencing your life like that? Could you imagine that happening starting on Monday, starting next week? Could you imagine feeling, completely different in the next couple of weeks? It may have felt like you've gone through, I'm already feeling this energy of this group coming in. It's like, it will feel like you've gone through years, what could maybe normally take years to move through. Kevin and I will we're sharing with you the things we've done over years, years and years and lifetimes, and sharing this in the space to really activate such a potent energy, such a powerful energy yes. with really deep support and guidance throughout the whole process. We'll be doing calls. We'll be having our own private curated group, a space to interact, daily assignments, practices, life-changing energetic practices, and real practical, all mind, body, spirit, super practical tools that we share with our clients, that we share on retreats, that we do in our own lives. It's you're getting it all. And my intention is that by the end of it, it's you trust yourself so fully, so completely to be your own most, incredible leader of your life, that you see the world completely differently. You see your life completely differently. You have completely new possibilities available to you. You will have probably already created totally new material possibilities very, very quickly, in your relationships and your money and your purpose and your power and the way that you're showing up and the energy you're commanding and what you're therefore attracting. And, by the end of it, you will be existing in a completely new paradigm, and you'll be completely, I get really excited about people seeing through more of the matrix and codependency victim paradigm as well, and really being a part of contributing to this new energy of empowerment, of connection, of real leadership, of sovereignty that we all know is what we really want.
Totally. And who you are. That's all I really will say. Who you are. If you are resonating with this and have been waiting for that thing that will be the shift that starts the new momentum, this is it. And we're here for you. And my intention for this container is very much in alignment with yours, Sydney. And my hope and my wish and my action is to hold a space where all the transition you've experienced this year, and I know because I've been experiencing it too, all the shift, all the struggle often can be made into that honey. The soil is fertile. It's harvest season. We're coming into the winter months, a time of renewal and spiritual rebirth, which is what today represents for me. Yes. 11-1. This is the activation. And so there really is no better time to say yes and have the radical accountability. And another thing I'll say is, like, it's possible to do it alone. It's possible. If you want to go really fast, do it alone. If you want to go really far, do it in a tribe. And if you want to have accountability and camaraderie and have that, like, that feedback and feed forward of other people in a similar container, then this is for you. This experience is for you. We're going to have a link to it in the comments. Again, we start on Monday. So
I actually don't know if it's possible to do it alone. I really don't recommend it. I've never done any healing. Like the biggest, like, quantum leap breakthroughs and healing transformations that I've experienced have always been in community.
Totally.
Always.
I think there's some people, especially like maybe the ancient people, who could just go up in a cave or a mountain, but okay. So that's more of what I was referring to.
I hear you.
It's always better in a community. I agree. Community, the space held in a community is going to be the most nutritious and transformative for healing, for sure.
Yeah. And the most fun, like, we can do deep, transformative, alchemical transmutation and, uncover some serious shame, some serious guilt, some, like, shit that you probably have never told anybody before that's been weighing you down in all kinds of ways, and we can have a lot of fun. And nothing feels better than, again and again, I think that's my favorite part of everything that I do, is seeing how the things that people are most ashamed of about themselves, that they hide and give so much energy to hiding or to disproving, it's like, that thing is always, again and again, the thing that it's like everyone else has in common with you, is the thing that, like, people are waiting to, like, love you for. Yeah, it's like the most connected thing about you. It's your power. It's beautiful, and to see people fall in love with, like, all parts of themselves is just, that's my highest excitement. And I invite you into that space. Could you imagine being in a space where you're also experiencing that on a daily basis? It's the most fulfilling, nurturing, soul healing exchange, I think, available to us as we're, as long as we're alive. Like, that's it. That's like my definition of abundance, is like that feeling, like that exchange is so sacred.
That's the space. That's the space. Yeah. Well, fam, this has been maybe the most potent transmission yet. Sydney, it's always an honor to spread the light with you. And like, comment, and share on this video, and down in the comments below, check it out. We're launching on 11/5. We want you to be there, and we are bringing in the new paradigm. Pay no attention to the one that's collapsing. It's time to double down, anchor the new. If you feel uncomfortable, it's because you're meant to create the new world. And so that's what we're here to do. Good. Sydney and I are bridgers, we're way showers. We're doing it with you. So that's all, family. Peace and power to all of you. Sydney,
I love you.
As always, so much love.